Hello guys, welcome to another video. This one is paper 2-2 of October, November 2013 of AdMath. So let's move on to question number 1. So here we have to find the set of values of x for which this is true. So we have done this many times now. So every time when you see something like this, send everything to one side. You will have x squared minus, so plus 5x minus 6 will be less than 0. So now we have to find the critical values of x. Okay, so basically take the same equation and write equal to 0. Okay, now we have to solve this to find the values of x. So this one we can be factorized. So here we have x times x. 6 is 6 times 1. To get plus 5, we have to have plus 6 minus 1, right? And now, this value will be x minus 1 is equal to 0. X plus 6 is equal to 0. Now, x is equal to 1. X is equal to minus 6. So these two will be the critical values of x. So now to find your answer, you have to make a drawing. This is the line of 0. And since here it is a 1, it is a positive 1, your graph will look something like this, right? So here we have minus 6, and here we have 1. Now we want the value of x, this equation, to be less than 0, to be below this line. So that is only true when your values of x is between those two values. So your answer will be x is between minus 6 and 1. That is your answer for part 1. So now just to explain, for example, what happens if this value here is minus 1 or if it is negative? So your graph will look something like this. Okay? So the difference is if the sign is negative, it will look like this. If it is plus 1, it will look like this. Okay? But this is your answer for question number 1. Now, let's move on to question number 2. Do not use a calculator in this question, so it means that you have to show every step of your work, okay? So here we have to express this in the form of this, where p and q are integers. Now, what are integers? These are whole numbers, okay? Whole numbers. So let's expand one by one. Let's first expand the top. We have 4 root of 5 minus 2 square. That is equal to 16 times 5 minus, that will be 2 times 4 times 2, that will be what? 16 root of 5 plus 4. That is equal to, what is 16 times 5? We can use our calculator to check that. That will be 80 plus 4, that will be 84. So on top, it is 84 minus 16 root of 5. That is your numerator. Now, replace this one back up here. You will have 84 minus 16 root of 5 divided by root 5 minus 1. So now we have to simplify this fraction. So we have to multiply by the conjugate of the denominator. That will be what? So if you observe, here it is minus 1 plus root 5. So the conjugate of this will become minus 1 minus root 5. That is the conjugate of this one. So let's write this down. Multiply by minus 1 minus root 5 minus 1 minus root 5. So let's do one by one. For the base, what do you have? You have, let's write it down in this way. So minus 1 plus root 5 times minus 1 minus root 5. Now this one looks a lot like a plus b, a minus b, and which is equal to exactly a square minus b square. So same way, this will give you what? This will give you minus 1 square minus root 5 square. That will be 1 minus 5, which is minus 4. Now for the numerator, let's do this multiplication as well. You will have 84 minus 16 root of 5 times minus 1 minus root of 5. So one by one, 84 times this will give you minus 84 root of 5, and then this times this will be plus 16 root of 5 plus 16 root of 5 times root of 5, that will be 5. So now we have to simplify. So this plus this is what? That will be minus 84 plus 16, that is minus 68. And what else? So here we have minus 84 plus this one. So minus 84 plus 16 times 5, minus 4. So that is minus 4 minus 68 root 5. So now put everything back in the main equation. So on top you had what? On top you had this one, which is minus 4 minus 68 root of 5. So just to show what happens, so this one will be continued to here, okay? So you have this on top, and on the bottom you will have this one, minus 4. Now we can simplify. If you take out minus 4 on top, take out minus 4, you will have what? You will have 1 plus, so let's see what value. So 68 divided by 4, that is 17. So plus 17 root of 5 over minus 4. So these two can cancel out. So you will have 17 root of 5 plus 1. So your answer will be given in this form, which is p root 5 plus q. So that is p root 5 plus q, when the value of p is 17 and q is 1. And that is your answer for question number 2. Let's move on to question number 3. So given that y is equal to this expression, find dy by dx. So always a step by step. So dy by dx will be what? So first thing, we have to multiply by the power. You will have 8 multiplied by this, and we have to minus 1, you will have 7, and then multiply by the differentiation of the inside, that will give you 1 over 4. Now we simplify, 4 will go away, that will be 2. So your answer will become 2 1 over 4x minus 5 power 7. And this is your answer for part 1. Now for part 2, hence meaning using the value from part 1, find the approximate change in y as x increases from this value to this value. So approximate change in y, so change in y is equal to what? You have to do dy by dx, because we have to use that value, hence meaning using the value from part 1 at x equal to 12, then multiply by the value of p for your answer. So dy by dx from the question is given by 2 1 over 4 times x minus 5 power 7 times p. So what do we have here? 1 over 4 times 12 is 3 minus 5 power 7. That will be 2 times minus 128 times p. That will be times 2. So your answer will be minus 256 p. Okay, and that is your answer for question number 2. Let's move on to question number 4. So given that log of p, base of p is equal to x, 5, log of base of py is equal to 2. So find this value. So as you can see, we have log of base of p, we have x, the power here, we can send the power to the beginning, become 2. So now you observe that this thing right here is given to you. This is equal to 5. So your answer is 2 times 5, 10. That is first one. And then for this one, you can just rewrite this as log base of p. Bring this x up, you'll have x power minus 1, which is equal to minus 1 log base of px. And this value right here is given to you by 5. So your answer will be minus 5. Now for part 3, we have this value. Now we have to rewrite this down so we can express this as required. So let's choose a base that you want to use. We choose a base of p, for example. So we will have log base of p, 2p on top, and then log base of p to xy. Now this one will become 1, and this one will become log base of px plus log base of py. But now for those two values, you know, this is given to you as 5, and this is given to you as 2. So your answer is 1 over 5 plus 2, which is 1 over 7. And it is your question number 4. Let's move on to question number 5. So solve the simultaneous equation. So let's see what can we do here. So one by one. So here we have 4 power x. Now what is 256? Let's try. 4 power 3 is how much? Times 4. Okay, so basically 4 power 4 is 256. So this can be written as 256 is 4 power 4. So divide by 4 power 4y is equal to, what is this value? Let's check. Times 4 again. That will be this. So basically it means that 1024 is 4 power 5. So that is 4 power 5. Now this is equal to what? Simplify this part, you will have 4x minus 4y. So when you divide, you can just bring the power up and write minus. Divide is minus the power here. Because we have the same base, we can do that, okay? Now we have 4 power 5. Now since the base are the same, we can just cancel out. You will have the first equation, which is x minus 4 equal to 5. That is your equation number 1. So same way, let's try to simplify this one. So we know 9 is actually 3 power 2. So pretty easy. You will have 3 2 power x times 3 power 2y is equal to what? So what is 243? So let's do 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. So that was 3 power 5. Yeah, 3 power 5. So 243 was 3 power 5. So 3 power 5. Now we can simplify this. That will become 3 power 2x. Here we have multiply, so we can bring the power up, plus 2y. Because all the bases are the same, we can do that, okay? Now on this side we have 3 power 5. Now because the base are the same here, we can just cross it out. You will have 2x plus 2y is equal to 5. That is equation number 2. So now we have to solve the equation. So we can make x become your subject of formula here. So x is equal to 5 plus 4y. Now replace x in this one. You will have 2 times x plus 2y is equal to 5. That will be 10 plus 8y plus 2y is equal to 5. So this will be 10y is equal to minus 5. So y will be minus half. Now let's find the value of x. X will be what? 5 plus 4 times minus half. That will be 5 minus 2. That will be 3. So x is 3 and y is minus 1 over 2. That will be your simultaneous solutions. And that is your question number 5. Now let's move on to question number 6. So find the coefficient of x cubed in this expansion. So step by step. So if you want to expand this, you will do 6, choose something. You will take the first value, and then you will take the second value. Now for us to get something in x power 3, here we need to have 3. If this is 3, this will have to be 3. And 6 minus 3 is 3, so this has to be 3 as well. So now we can simplify. So 6 choose 3 is what? It is 20. 20 times 1 times minus 8 x cubed. That will be minus 60 x cubed. So the coefficient of x cubed will be minus 160. That will be your answer for part 1. Now for part 2, find the coefficient of x cubed in this expansion. Now we realize in this expansion we have what? Let's first expand this. We take 1, multiply by this, so 1 times this, and then plus x over 2 times this. Right? That will be the expansion. Now 1 times what give you something x power 3? So 1 times something in x power 3 will give you something in x power 3. Right? So that will be minus 160 x power 3. Now for this one we have to make a choice. So we have to find something in terms of x power 2, because when you multiply x power 2 by x, it gets you x power 3, right? So we have to choose something here. So we have to choose something. First one is 1, then we have minus 2x. Now we need something in x power 2. If this is 2, that will be 2. 6 minus 2 is 4. That will be the value here. So this one is minus 160 x cubed plus x over 2 times what? 6 choose 2 is 15 times 1 times 4x squared. So now we can simplify. This one is 1, that will be 2. So you will have minus 160 x cubed. That will be 15 times 2 is plus 30 x cubed. So your answer is what? Minus 160 plus 30. That will be minus 130 x cubed. But your answer is the coefficient, which is minus 130. Okay. Now moving on to part 3, we have to expand this one in a series of powers of x with integer coefficients. So we just have to expand and see what happens for the coefficients. Okay, so let's do one by one. So first term is what? 4 choose 0, and then we get the first term, and then we have 1 over root of x, so this will be 0 and that will be 4, plus 4 choose 1, that will be 2 root of x, 1 over root of x, that will be 1 and that will be 3. 4 choose 2, that will be this, and that will be 2 and that will be 2, plus 4 choose 3, that will be 3 here, and that will be 1, and 4 choose 4, that will be 0, and here you have something as power 4. Now we can try to simplify to see what happens. So here you have 1 for the first one here, times, this will be 2 power 4 is what? 2 power 4 is 16, and x power x, so you have to know that cube of this is equal to half, right? So half times 4 will be 2 x squared. This is 1, okay? Now plus 4 choose 1 is 4, that will be 8, and that will be x 3 over 2 times 1 over x half. Now this one, so here we have 4 choose 2 is what? That will be 6, that will be 4x 1 over x. And the next one, plus, what is 4 choose 3? 4 again, and that will be 2 root of x times 1 over x root of x. Okay, so basically to understand this, what is root of this power, so root of x power 3? You will see that it is 3, 2, which is also x times x half. So exactly this, okay? So plus, this will be 4 choose 4 is 1. That will be 1 as well. That will be 1 over x squared. Now let's simplify again to see what happens. So we have what here? So first term is 16 x squared. That will cancel out the cube. You will have what left? 1 left. So you will have plus 32x plus 24. And this one will be what? This one cancel out. So you will have plus 8 over x, and here you will have plus 1 over x squared. So here we have to expand in a series of powers of x with integer coefficients. As you can see, our coefficients here are all integer. Okay, they are all integers. So this is your expansion for part B. And that is your question number 6. Now let's move on to question number 7. Okay, let's see what we have here. So the diagram shows a box in the shape of a cuboid. Okay, now with a square cross section, if this is x, this is also x, x and x, because it is a square, right? Now the volume of the box is this much. That's the volume of the box. So of the whole box is this much. Now 4 pieces of tape are fastened around the box as shown. So we have 4 pieces of tape. This is 1, 2, 3, and 4 pieces of tape. Okay. Now what else can we know here? The pieces of tape are parallel to the edges of the box. Okay, that's the information. Now part 1, given that the total length of the 4 pieces is equal to L, so L is equal to this equation. So what can we use to show that? As you can see from the question, we have this information here. The volume of the cuboid is this. So write down volume has been given to you as equal to this much. Now question is, how would you find the volume of the cuboid? Okay, so let's see. So volume of cuboid, as you guys know, it is length times width times height, right? So we know the length, we know the width. So this is the height, we don't know the width. So this is the length, we don't know the length. So the length is this one, we don't know. So let's first find the length. Let's call this length y. So what is the value of y? So using this we can find that. So basically length is y times width is x times height is x, that is equal to this much. That will be y times x squared equal to this much. So that is our first equation that we have derived. Now how would you find the length L of the strings? Okay. So by observation, what can you see? You can see that the length of the strings will be what? So here we have, this is x, and on the back we have x as well. And that will be x, 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 x. So that is 4x, that is also 4x, and that is also 4x. So for now we have the length of these boxes, right? These strings, 4, 4, 4. So you add all these, you will have 12x. And plus these two, that will give you 14x. So we are only missing this length and this length, which is y and y, so plus 2y. Okay, so by observation, you have seen that the length L is equal to 14x plus 2y. So now we have to replace this value of y by this equation now. So y is equal to 35 over x squared. Okay, replace it back now, you will have 14x plus 2 times y. So that will give you 14x plus 7,000 over x squared. That is your value for L. And this is shown as required. Okay, that is for part 1. Now let's move on to part 2. Given that x can vary, find the stationary value of L and determine the nature of this point. So pretty easy. Let's first write L as this. L is equal to 14x plus 7,000 power x minus 2. So dl by dx. Because we know the at stationary value, we know that dl by dx is 0. So we have to find dl by dx. That is equal to 14 minus 14,000. So we have to multiply by the power first, and then minus 1, make it minus 2. So that will be 14 minus 14,000 divided by x power 3. Now we know this is equal to 0 at its stationary point. Now to eliminate this value here, we have to multiply everywhere by x cubed. So you will have, let's continue here, you have 14 x cubed minus 14,000 is equal to 0. Now let's solve for the value of x. So you will have 14 x cubed is equal to 14,000. X cubed will be 1,000. X will be equal to 10. You can check. So cubic root of 1, 2, 3, that should be 10. So your value of x will be 10. But now we have to use this value to find the value of L. So L is equal to 14 times x plus 7,000 divided by x squared. That will be 140 plus 70. That will be 210. L will be your length. That will be in terms of centimeters. That will be for part 1 of the question. Now, we have to determine the nature of this value. So whenever you see nature, you have to find d2L by dx2. So let's do that. So d2L by dx2 should give you what value? So let's observe. Here we have dl by dx, or dx2, sorry. That will give you, this will go away, so that will be 0. And that will become plus 3 times 14,000. That will be 42. And then we have x power minus 4. And your answer will be 42,000 over x power 4. Now replace the value of x by this value. You will have 42,000 divided by x power 4. Sorry, x is 10. Okay, right? So answer divided by 10 power 4. That will be 4.2, which is a positive value. So you can just write since. So let's make some space right here. Right, since you know that d2L by dx2 is more than 0, the stationary value of L is a minimum value. Okay, and that will be your question number 7. Now let's move on to your question number 8. The table shows experimental values for 2 variables, x and y. So we have 2 variables, and we have the corresponding values of x and y. Now, it is known that x and y are related by this equation. Okay? Now, where a and b are constants, a straight line graph is to be drawn for this information with y over x on your vertical axis. State the variable which must be plotted on the horizontal axis. So by observation here is, how can you make y become y over x? So you have to divide by x, right? So if you divide everywhere by x, you will have what? Let's try again. You have this at first. So let's divide everywhere by x. So you have y over x, just like we need, and that will become ax squared plus b. So as you can see, this will be your y variable, and this will be your x variable. So the other variable will be x squared. This is just your y-intercept. So this looks a lot like y equal to mx plus c, right? This is your gradient, and this is your y-intercept. Now part 2, we have to draw this straight line graph. So to draw this graph, we need the values of y over x and x squared. So let's do that first. So first let's find the values of x squared. That will be 4, 16, 36, and 64. And now let's find the value of y over x. So y is 9.6 divided by 2. That will be 4.8. 38.4 divided by 4. 9.6, 105 divided by 6, 17.5, and 232 divided by 8. That will be 29. So this is the values on your x-axis, and that is your value on your corresponding y-axis. So let's draw that. So first we have to label this one as well to make this work, okay? So this is your x square axis, and let's count. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6.5. So we can write 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and this is 65. Okay, so let's find the values we can plot now. The first value is 4 and 4.8. So 4 will be right here. And what is 4.8? Let's check. So here we have what? 5. This is 15. And that is 25. So as you can see, every 2 squares 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So every 2 squares 1. So first we have the value of 4 here, is right here, 4. 4.8 will be where? So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5, 4.8 will be somewhere about here. That will be your first point. Then we have 16, 9.6. 16 will be this one. And where's 9.6? That will be, so here we have 10, that will be 9. 9.5, 9.6 will be about here. Next one is 36, 17.5. 36 will be this one. And 17.5, let's check. This is 15, 16. So 16, 17.5. Right here. The next one, 64, 29. 64 will be on this line. And 29 will be just before 30. That should be right here. So now we have to join all the points by a straight line. So let me use a different color. So let me move this in this direction so you can see where am I joining the points. Okay, so try your best to make a straight line. Okay, something like this. Okay, and that will be your graph for question part 1. Now let's move on to part 2. So here we have using your graph to estimate the value of a and b. Now to know what value of those, you have to look at your equation. Your equation is x over, so y over x is equal to ax squared plus b. So as you can see, this is your gradient and this is your y-intercept. So first let's find the value of b to see where is your y-intercept. So if you would continue this line, you can see where it cuts your y-axis. So use your graph. That will be about this point. This will be 1, 2, 3. That will be about 3.2. So in that case, the value of b will be, so according to graph, to y-intercept, b shows to be about 3.2. So that is according to my graph, but your graph may show about, it may show 3.0, 3.6, depending on your graph, okay? Now for this one, we have to find the value of a. A is a gradient. To find the gradient, we have to have 2 points on your graph. So let's see, what 2 points do you want to take? Now you can choose your points depending on your preference. You can choose the points that are given to you as well. So I will choose this point here, which is 30 and 15. And I will choose this one here, which is 55 and 25. So let me write this down again. So the 2 points I choose will be 30 and 15 and 55 and 25. So to find the gradient, which is a, is equal to y2 minus y1, 25 minus 15 over x2 minus x1. What is that? 25 minus 15, that will be 10 over 25. So 10 divided by 25 is 0.4. So A will be 0.4. So your equation will look something like y over x is equal to A plus B. That is your equation of your straight line. Now for part 4, estimate the value of x for which 2y equal to 25x. So let's find out how can we use that. So if you observe, what happened here is we can just play with the numbers or with the values. We have 2y on one side and we have 25x. So what happens if you divide by x everywhere? You will see it becomes 2y over x equal to 25, and from this you will have y over x equal to 12.5. Okay, so what is the value of x when y over x is equal to this? So we can use our graph or our equation if you want to. So let's use our graph for this one. What happens if the value of this becomes 12.5 is right here. So you always have to show your work when you are using your graph so that they know how you find your values, okay? So this is my corresponding value for the x squared, that is 23. So with that value, I have x squared as 23. So x will be root of 23. That will be what? That will be 4.80, correct to 3SF. That is my value for x. And that is your question number 8. Okay, so let's move on to question number 9. So the diagram shows a river with parallel banks. As you can see here, this is one bank, the other bank. Now the river is 40 meters wide. This is 40. So this here has also to be 40. Okay? And it's flowing with a speed of 1.8 in this direction. Okay? A canoe travels in a straight line from a point P on one bank to a point Q on the other bank. Now, the bank is 70 meters downstream, as you can see here. Given that the canoe takes 12 seconds, so that is very important here, to travel from P to Q, calculate the speed of the canoe in still water and the angle to the bank that the canoe was steered. So here the main point is this 12 seconds and the speed of the river. So if you are pushed by the river in this direction, at this speed, for this much time, what is the distance you will be pushed? So if you look at the formula, speed is distance over time. So distance will be speed times time. Time is equal to 12 seconds. And that should give you 1.8 times 12. That will be 21.6. So basically, by reaching this point, the boat was pushed to this point. For example, right? It was pushed to this point, about this point. It was pushed to this point, which is 21.6 down this way. That will be 21.6, sorry. And what is this value here? 70 minus 21.6, that will be 48.4. So this one is 48.4, this one is 40, so we can find this angle here. This is, let's call this one alpha. So what is the value of alpha? We can use SOHCAHTOA to find this one. So we have to use tan here because we have the O side and the A side. Tan of alpha will be 40 over 48.4, that is equal to tan inverse of 40 over 48.4. That will give you 39.6. So the steered angle will be 39.6 degrees. So next thing is we have to find the speed. So what is this speed? So we know this is 40, this is 48 point, this is meters, right? And what is this length? We can find this by using the Pythagoras theorem. Let's call the length x. So that will be x squared is equal to 48.4 square plus 40 square. So x will be what? That will be 62.7898. That is the distance for this one. But we have to find the speed. As you guys have seen here, the formula is speed is distance by time. So speed will be 62.7898 and the time is 12. It is given to you. That will be 5.23 for the speed in still water. Okay. And that will be the two answers you will have for this question. Now there's many methods to solve this question. This is one of them. And this is for the question number 9. Okay, let's move on to question number 10. So the diagram shows a circle with center O and a chord AB, as you can see here, and the radius is 12. This is 12, this also has to be 12. Now, the angle AOB, this one is 1.4 radians. Now part 1 is to find the perimeter of the shaded region. So we have to find this length and this length. Okay, so pretty easy. So first let's find this length, which is chord of AB. So if you observe, we have a triangle AOB. We know the angle in between. We know these two sides. We have to use the cosine rule, right? So cosine of the angle is equal to 12 square plus 12 square minus AB square divided by 2 times 12 times 12. Now we have to simplify. So first cross multiply. What would you have on one side? So as you can see, we have cos 1.4, which is radians. So let's put that into radians. So cos 1.4 times 2 times 12 times 12. That will be 48.950537 is equal to, so what is 12 square plus 12 square? That will be 288 minus AB square. Now we have to make AB become the subject of formula. That will become 288 minus 48.950537. That will be 239.04946. So AB is equal to root of that. That will be 15.461. That is your length of chord AB. That is 15.461. Now what is this length of the major arc? So to find that, we need to find the value of the angle. This angle, what is this angle? That will be, the angle will be equal to, so we have to first take the whole angle, which is 2 pi, minus this one, 1.4. So 2 pi minus 1.4. That will be 4.8832. So now using this angle, we can find the arc AB. So let's write down. Arc AB, the major arc AB, will be r theta. R is the radius, and theta will be the major angle, which is 4.8832. So times 12. That will be 58.598. Okay. So now to find the perimeter, we have to add those two together. So this plus 15.461. That will be 74.1 centimeters. Correct to 3SF. That is your perimeter. So now we have also to find the area of the region. So how would you find the area? So by observation, we can find the area into two pieces. First, we can find the area of this triangle OAB. So let's call this one A. And then we can find the area of the sector. Call this one B. Okay. So one by one. So first, let's find the area of triangle. A is area of triangle AOB. That will be half sine of the angle, which is 1.4, times the two sides, which is 12, times 12. Half sine of 1.2 times 12 times 12. That will be 67.1068. Next, we have to find the area of B, which is the sector AOB, but the major sector. That will be half R square, which is 12 square, and the angle A is equal to 4.8832. Half times 12 square, 4.8832. That will be 351.5904. So to find the area, we just have to add A and B. .1068. That will be 418.7 centimeters square. And that is your area of the region. And this is your question number 10. Question number 11. So here what do we have? The diagram shows part of a curve y equal to this. Okay. Now the tangent to the curve at the point P, this one, meets the x-axis at point Q. So we have to find the point Q. So the tangent at the point P meets the x-axis. So we have to find the equation of the tangent first and then find the point Q, right? So we know the curve is equal to what? Curve is equal to y equal to this. So we have to first find the gradient of tangent, which is dy by dx. That will be what? Exponential x over 3 times 1 over 3. That will be exponential x over 3 divided by 3. So now we have to find the gradient of the tangent, which is gradient at the value of x equal to 9. That will be exponential. 9 over 3 will be 3 over 3. That is the gradient. And we know the passing point already, which is 9 exponential power 3. This is x and y. Okay, so let's find the equation of tangent. And that's the first thing to find. Okay, so it'll be y minus exponential power 3 over x minus 9 is equal to exponential power 3 over 3. So that is just a method to finding the equation of a line. We take this value here, we take y minus this value on top and x minus this value on the bottom equal to the value of the gradient. Now we can cross multiply. You will have 3y minus 3 exponential power 3 equal to x exponential power 3 minus 9 exponential power 3. Now you can try to simplify if you want to. You will have 3y is x exponential power 3. So minus 9 plus 3 will be minus 6. So basically, that is your equation of your tangent, which is this value, x minus 6. Now we have to find the point Q. Q is where? Is at the x-axis. So at x-axis, what do we know? We know y is equal to 0. So that will be 0 here, and you will have exponential 3x minus 6. So first thing we can do is to divide by exponential everywhere. This will go away. So you will have x minus 6 is 0. So 6 will be x. So Q will be 6, 0. So this is your point 6. That is for part 1. Now for part 2 we have to find what? It says to find the area of the shaded region bounded by the curve and the coordinate axis and the tangent to the curve at P. So let's see. Basically we will have to find this area of this region. So here what can we do here is we can just do that from this point. This is the point 1. This is 9. So we can first find the area under the curve from 0 to 9, and minus area of the triangle from 6 to 9. So this is the area of triangle, which is half, times base is 3, times height. Height is what? Is exponential power 3. That will be 3 over 2, this. This is the area of the triangle. Let me shade that for you. That is the area of triangle, okay? So we have to find the area under the curve first from 0 to 9 and then minus this value. So let's first find the area under the curve. So the curve is given to you by the equation y is equal to exponential x over 3. So area will be integration from 9 to 0 exponential x power 3 dx. That will be exponential x power 3 divided by 1 over 3. That is 3 this, and the limits will be 9 and 0. That will be 3. Outside we have the first value is exponential 3 minus 1, because exponential power 0 is always going to be 1. Okay, so here we have the value of 3 this minus 3. That is the area under the curve. But now we want the area of the shaded region. So area of shaded region. That will be the whole area, which is this, minus area of the triangle, which is found in part 1. Not part 1, but I have shown you here. We have found this area. So 3 over 2 minus exponential power this. So 3 minus this will be what? So let's see. 3 minus, that will be over 2 as well. You will have 6. That will be 3 over 2. So just to show you guys how did I found this. So basically this is 3 exponential power 3 minus 3 over 2 exponential power 3. So at first the base are different. We have to make it become 2. Here we have 1, right? So make it become 2. That will become 6 exponential 3 minus 3 exponential 3. So 6 minus 3 will be 3 over 2 remaining. So this is where I have this value. But this is your answer for the area of the shaded region, and that is your question number 11. Now let's see what question do we have. Now let's move on to question number 12. So we have to solve the equation 2 cosec x plus 7 over cos x equal to 0. Now the first thing we realize is here we have cosec x. So let's simplify that. We know that cosec x is equal to 1 over sin x. We place back in the main equation, you will have 2 over sin x plus 7 over cos x is of course equal to 0. So now basically we have two fractions which is with different bases. So how can you make the base become the same? You can just multiply them by each other. So sin x times cos x. Then we cross multiply. That is equal to 0. So now we can just cross multiply. You will have what? On one side you will have 2 cos of x plus 7 sin of x equal to 0. So now you have a expression in terms of cos and sine. So whenever you have that, divide by cos everywhere. So you will have 2 plus 7 tan of x equal to 0 remaining. So tan of x is equal to minus 2 over 7. So whenever you have something minus, you know that tan will be in the second quadrant, which is 180 minus theta, and fourth quadrant, which is 360 minus theta. So whenever you have the value minus here, I advise to use this method. It will be it is kind of easier to understand because it is you always use the same method. So let's first find the value of theta. It is not x, so theta is tan inverse of taking the positive value, which is 2 over 7. You will have what value? 2 over 7. We have to use degrees. That will be 15.5 0.9 degrees. But that is not your answer. Your answer will be x according to the quadrants. First will be 180 minus theta, so 180 minus 15.9, that will be 164.1, and we have 360 minus theta, that will be 344.1. So these will be the two values of x for which your equation will be satisfied. This is part A of the equation. Now for part B, we have to solve this equation. So here we have 7 sine 2y minus 1 equal to 5. So first step is to make sine become your subject of formula. So you have sine of 2y minus 1 equal to 5 over 7. Okay. Now this one is positive value. So we have to look at our quadrants to know where is this sine value. If it is positive, it will be in your first quadrant and in your second quadrant. That will be, this is radians, so we have to use pi minus theta. Now because the value here is positive already, we can just evaluate directly. We don't need to use the method in part A. We can just use this one directly. 5 over 7. So here we have to use radians, so make sure that your mode is radiant. That will be sine inverse of 5 divided by 7. That will be 0.796. Now right now we have 2y minus 1 is that. But something we know is we also have to find the other value, which is this one, pi minus answer. That will be 2.35. But something as we can see here, the domain was given for y between 0 and 5. But here we have 2y minus 1. So let's change that to 2y minus 1. That will be what? This will be equal to minus 1. And what is this value? So 2 times 5 minus 1. That will be 9. But the value of 2y is simply between 0 and 10. So let's first find the value of 2y from them. You will have 2y will be 1.796 and 3.35. So we know that 2y has to be between those two values. Okay. But here we have some range left, because so here we have the max value is 10, but here it is only 3.35. So it is possible that we can have other values that we can have for this 2y. So we can test. By testing, I mean we can try to add 2 pi to each of them to see what happens. Okay. So 1.796 plus 2 pi, you will have 8.079, and 3.35 plus 2 pi, that will be 9.63. So this value will be still, this value will be valid still, because 2y is still between 0 and 10. So every value here is between 0 and 10. So these values are valid values. Now finally, we want to find the value of y. So divide by 2. That will be 0.898. 3.35 divided by 2. 0.168. That will be 4.04. That will be 4.82. So this will be the values for y, which is valid for your equation. And that will be your question number 12. And that was the last question. I hope that was somewhat helpful. As always, thank you for watching. I will see you soon.